Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Today we're going to go through some general stats for 2023 and then tell you my goals for 2024. So, just going through, if editing Lisa can be bothered, she'll put a grid there, like a chart, but if she can't, she won't. So last year I read 200 books exactly. I hit 200 books just before midnight last night and ended it on a high with the Miss Percy's travel guide to the Welsh Moors and Feral Dragons by Quimby Olsen. So good. Highly recommend. Cozy fantasy. I'll be doing a full review. You'll see it coming soon. And in total I read 68,652 pages. And that seems pretty good for me. What is a bit surprising to me, and I think this might be because I did the By the Angel along, is that 55% of my reading was YA and 42% was adult. It's not that I've been making a conscious effort not to pick up YA. It just, near the back end of the year, I definitely realised there's more that I was just, especially the YA that I was picking for myself, I just wasn't enjoying as much. I just don't think I know how to pick YA for myself, if I'm not going to be honest. All the YA that I've enjoyed has come from friend recommendations. But 20% of what I read last year was indie / self-published and 80% was traditional. I don't think this is completely correct because I put all my manga down under traditionally published and I really should have just put it down as a different category. So those are skewed a lot because I read, out of the 200 books I read, 60 plus were manga. So I'm gonna find a way to track that a bit better next year so that I can split it between the percentage of manga that I've read and then out of the books that I've read, what percentage were indie and what percentage traditionally published. I do feel like it is more evenly split, whereas, and I think a lot of the traditionally published stuff that I've read has come from the contemporary, some of the fantasy as well, but a lot of the contemporary that I've been reading. Out of the books that I read last year, 78% was series, 21.2% standalone. Not surprising. I'm a big fantasy buff, and a lot of fantasy you find are part of series. A lot of the standalones I read, again, probably would have been my contemporary. There's been a couple of fantasy standalones, I think, but other than that, yeah. And I also had 8.1% rereads and 90% were first time reads. Last year I reread quite a bit. And I've reread the same book multiple times. In fact, the back end of the year, that's a bit lower than I haven't recorded one of my reads on here. Which was a reread of Bookshops and Bonus in December. Has it only just come out the back end of the year? Yeah. Have I read it 3 times, 4 times already? Yeah, I have. Taking no questions at this time. So I have 2. You can tell that I read a lot of manga last year because the split is 40 books, which was 20% of my reading, was between 350 and 400 pages. 19% of my reading was between 150 and 200 pages, and you can guarantee, apart from the couple of novellas that I read the back end of the year, that 90% is all manga. So I think I need to find a better way of splitting my novels and manga next year. I just don't know how to do that on a spreadsheet. I'm good at spreadsheets, but I'm just not that good yet. I had 3 DNFs last year, which for me is really good. I think that's right. I think I did only DNF. I do advocate for DNFing, but I've not come across many books where I felt like I had to DNF. I think I'm quite good at picking what I do and don't like. Star rating wise, for some reason, my spreadsheet hasn't tracked my ratings. So, but I can say that I definitely had way more 5 stars than I've ever had any other year. Because I've been picking books up that I really loved. And I think it's also because I've gone on vibes for the most part of what I've been reading. I was using Corpal previously. And I mentioned this in my last year's goals. I felt like I was adjusting my figures to fit how I felt about the book. I felt like if it, for me it was a 5 star and Corpal was telling me it was a 4, I was changing it to make it a 5, and then that's absolutely pointless using the Corpal system if I'm then going to change it to fit how I feel. Yeah, if the writing style is me or the characters are not great, that does affect my rating because it does affect my enjoyment and the vibes and everything. So, but for times when I'm reading things like just a trash KU smut, or like the time I got drunk and yeeted a wolf potion at a werewolf, I am not gonna rate the writing for things like that just because, I say trash like it's bad, but it's just pure enjoyment. You're going on, it's just a quick read, a bit of fun, that kind of thing. Yeah, I think I'm really happy with my reading overall last year. I do think that at times I did overwhelm myself with things that I took part in, which is why this year I am not taking part in much of anything. I'm not hosting much of anything, I don't think. Not half as much as I did last year, but we're going to go through that in the next section, which is the goals. So, one of my goals is to stop putting so much pressure on myself. So last year, and I will preface this by saying my friends warned me about this, but I was so excited to take part in all the things, I didn't care that it would have an effect on me, and I just did it anyway. I ignored my friend, which you should never do really. But I can't say that I didn't enjoy what I did last year. I enjoyed every single part, apart from the Lifelike series, RIP my brain, fucking lemon fresh. I enjoyed taking part in every read-along that I did. With every book that I read for part of those series, I really enjoyed it. But this year, I've got different focuses, so I'm going to take part in less. The only read-alongs I'm going to, or book clubs I'll be hosting will be the It's All About Fantasy Book Club, which I host with Chels from Mostly Bookaholic. And we're finishing the Christopher Long with Empire of the Damned when that comes out, and then I have the podcast with Jem, but we're changing that to a book every other month. So those are the things that I will personally be hosting or like leading in any kind of way, shape or form next year. I will still be taking part in other read-alongs like the Mass-along. I'll still be reading those books, but I'm not a host, so there's not as much pressure on me to read the books. The next one is going to be read more manga. I have mentioned this quite a few times, generally in like a fly-by-night comment, if that's the phrase that I'm supposed to use, but I just did off the hand comment that growing up, the friends that I used to associate with, I tried to adjust what I liked and make it fit with what they liked. Don't get me wrong, like, I used to love makeup. I still do love makeup. I don't wear it half as much as I used to do. I used to try and really be into football because like a lot of the lads I used to hang around with used to be into football. I'm not really a football kind of girl. I'm not. So with things like that, I used to try and fit in with and like become obsessed with things that they wanted to do, and I didn't really explore things that I enjoyed. I didn't really do things that I wanted to do because of fear of them taking the piss out of me, really. Me and my friends take the mick out of each other a lot, but it's just jesting. Like, these would literally, like, put me down for what I liked. I've really found my people at the age that I'm at now, and we don't all always like the same things, whether that's the genres, like the hobbies that we've got. We don't all like exactly the same things, but the great thing about my friendship group is that we all support each other in whatever our thing is. That was a long-winded way of me saying I found my people, and I found that, like, just being able to chill and read some manga and enjoy it and geek over it with my friends it makes me happy. So rather than feeling like I have to read books all the time, like novels, just allowing myself to enjoy the fun that is manga. I say fun, it also makes me cry, but we're not going to go into that. Again, around the friends, is to spend more time with my friends. So I spend every other weekend generally with my best friend Ed, unless I'm going to London, and I've spent a few weekends down in London with the girls, but I missed out on York last year, which I'm really good about because, you know, physical issues. But I have a whole bunch of friends that live, like, in Scotland, and it's gonna be nigh on impossible to get everyone together, like, north and south, all at the same time. But the only person out of my Scottish friends that I've met in person is Tori. I haven't met Danny, Katie, Andy, Siobhan, none of them. Pia, Bobby, nobody I talked to in Scotland have I met in person, other than Tori. And I've known these people for, what, 2 years now, or so, I think. And we talk almost every day. So I'm going to make more of an effort to spend some time up that end as well. And meet some of those friends and spend some time with those friends. Because I want to meet them. But I do also want to go down to London and go to the theatre. So all my holidays, my annual leave is going to be spent down in London or up in Scotland. It's fine. It's fine. I'll just be like a yo-yo. The next ones are just general, like, channel life things. So the general channel goals are upload more frequently and consistently. Especially, yeah, for the whole of this year mostly, from like April onwards, I was very inconsistent with my uploading, and for various reasons I got into a relationship that was very one-sided, and in hindsight not really a great relationship. And then I went into a little bit dark hole of mental illness, and I just struggled to get out of it. I struggled with everything, just focusing on a daily basis, let alone focusing on filming. I just didn't want to be in front of the camera as much, and I did a lot of, like, it sounds cheesy as hell, but like reassessing things about me and my brain and how it works, and coming to terms with a lot of things that I hadn't previously wanted to come to terms with. Trying not to label myself in any particular way, but also realising that sometimes labels might be required in order to get the help that you need. So, yeah. Last year, in general, for the most part, was a shit show. Highlights were like my best friend and seeing my friends in London, spending time with my family. Those are the people that kept me going. Like, if you've been in my life, conversed with me in any way, made an effort to speak to me, check in on me, whether we've spent time on a video call or just chatting via WhatsApp or when we've met in person, just know that I'm grateful for that, because it kept me going through this shit that was the murkiness of the brain. So, yeah, shout out to you guys. And the next goal is focus on the business with Chels. So, I want to make this work. Like, we all know how chaotic I can be, but when it comes to something that I'm really passionate about, and I do have a serious brain somewhere in here, it flicks on and off from that time to time, but I'm a manager at work. I manage a team of people. I am capable of having, like, a business brain. And I love indie books. I promote indie books all the time. So getting the chance to work with authors and getting to do it with one of the loveliest people that I know and that I've met within this community. And another person that I've still not met in person, Chels, we need to rectify that next year. Seriously, what is going on? I host a book club with Chels, and now I have a business with Chels, and we've never met in person. What is that about? I don't know. But I want to focus on that and make that work, which means that although it sounds like it's going to conflict with my other goal, although I want to upload consistently on the channel, I also need to spread my time with the business. So I might only do 2 videos a week or 1 video a week for a period, and then I might only do like 2 videos a week, and it might just be that for this year until I get things going with get into a routine. Ideally, I wanted to do 3 times a week, but I'm not going to overstretch myself. I need to be able to give myself that time because I have a full-time job. I will also be doing this with Chels, so I want to make sure that I'm not overwhelming myself as well. So yeah, do that. And I say this every year. I've said this for the last 2 years, and I could totally understand why I haven't hit 1,000, okay? But, and I know that numbers are not everything, but I would love to hit 1,000 subscribers. I really would. And I know that last year I dropped off the face of the earth for a while. It was very inconsistent. Content wasn't great. I wasn't great. Seeing myself back in some of those videos. Yes, I've watched a couple of them back. I can understand why people was like, maybe not for this one. But for me, I do need to stop comparing myself to other people. But it's hard. It is. I look at other people's channels and I'm like, well, they do the same content as me, so how the hell have they just gone from like 0 to 100? And I'm still stuck at like this part. Like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, I don't know why people don't like me. And that automatic negative thinking is something that I need to work on in general, not just with this. But just because someone else is doing really well doesn't mean that I'm doing something wrong. It just means people want to watch them more. Like, more people have been exposed to them and maybe they're more interested. Like, it doesn't mean that I'm not interested or wanted to people that want to watch me. Because I have people that consistently, every video, will comment. Whether it's just a love heart to say that they're there, or they'll anything, they'll comment. We've got Butterfly Amanda, she always comments. Ashley is always there, Hattie. Just people that as soon as the notifications come up, it just makes me smile to see that they've commented, because they come back all the time. Even when I'm not being consistent, they will always be there in lives and things. If they can't stay for the full live, they'll still pop on and say hi. That means a lot, and as cliche and as cheesy as that sounds, it means a lot. So it's great. I would just like to hit that 1,000. And I've got 3 more goals for you. So the last one is craft more. I have found a love for crafting again that I lost years ago. I used to draw all the time. Not saying I did it well. I'm not some amazing artiste. I could literally draw from a grid and do a bit of shading, but that was like the one thing that really calmed me and let my brain just relax and focus. That sounds like an oxymoron there, but my brain was just like shut out the outside world, shut out all the shit, and I would just draw. I also used to do it when I did cross stitching and diamond painting. I used to love doing all the crafty stuff. When my mental health hit a low, even things that I really enjoy, like reading and crafting, even things that I enjoy, like reading and crafting, went down the pan. Like, I didn't even have the motivation to do anything like that. But recently, a woman at work was like, oh, we should do a crafty Secret Santa. And I was like, what do I do? But Sayab Han, to normal people, Siobhan, they are in one of our group chats, and they do the cutest little crochet gifts. So they made me one of these. They made me 3 of these actually, and a little ghosty. So I said to myself, like, that looks like fun. I'm gonna try that. I crocheted like 3 little Christmas decorations for Secret Santa, and I became obsessed with doing this. I've tried to make it. I have some of the things that I made are questionable. They're not the best, but I need to give myself a break with that as well. I've literally just started learning how to do it, and the first thing I tried to make was a Christmas decoration, without even learning a basic chain stitch. So, you know, I went all in straight away, but I really started to enjoy it. I did try and make a present for a friend at Christmas, but somehow I've messed up and the ears ended up bigger than the face, and it now looks just like a weird thing. I don't know if it looks like an elephant like it's supposed to be, but you know, it is what it is. I don't think I'm going to give it to them now. I'm probably going to wait till I can make a better one for them, probably for next year. I just want to be able to set my time aside to craft, not feel bad that I'm not. If I can listen to an audiobook while I craft, great. If I can't, and I'm just not reading for a night, then fine. It's not a big deal. Next up is being more involved in the community. I have a habit of, like, just, I'll start getting involved, and then I will just be on it all the time, and then I'll overload myself, and then I'll just stop. Again, I'm an all or nothing person, so I need to just find a nice balance between getting involved and chatting with people in the community, and then also not feeling bad when I take a break and I don't talk to people for a couple of days. I feel bad for not, like, when I start communicating with people and start commenting on things, I then feel really bad on the days that I don't, so then I just totally stop doing it, which is just stupid because we are all adults, we all have lives. So I want to be more consistently involved with the community. I'm on a couple of Discords and they're all very chatty and lovely. I would like to get more involved in just talking to people and just, yeah, getting involved. My final goal for 2024 is to practice more self-care. I don't do that enough, and I'm very, very hard on myself. You probably all know this if you know me at all. I'm very, very hard on myself in almost every single aspect of my life. And I would not treat others the way that I treat myself. I'm like, I would give people a pass. I would give people a break. I'd be like, don't be too hard on yourself. You didn't read all those books in that month. But if I don't read those books in that month, then I'm a failure in life. Do you know what I mean? Like, I am really horrible to myself. And it needs to stop. Because in the outside world, I've got enough people that are horrible to me. Outside my friend group, obviously. None of my friends are horrible to me. I don't need to do that to myself. I need to take care of myself more. And just stop being so hard on myself when things go wrong. Because when things go wrong in my brain, I go into like a spiral. And then they go really wrong. And I need to just stop and think, like, the silver lining of everything. And it's not, the world hasn't ended because I haven't finished my TBR. Which is then why I changed it to an MBR. So then my brain's like, it was only a might be read anyway, so it's fine. So maybe I have to do little more tricks like that to trick my brain into thinking that everything's okay. I don't know. But yeah, I have a bunch of like face masks, and I've got a foot spa, and I'm probably just gonna, maybe once every couple of weeks, or even just once a month, whatever, is just have like an actual physical self-care day as well as a mental self-care. Just like full on foot spa, face mask, hair mask, just skincare, whole shebang. I've started getting my nails done again, and honestly, if you are an acrylic nail person and you go from having them to not having them, you know how it feels when you don't have them. My fingers feel stumpy. I feel like I'm less expressive. I'm like, I don't like not having them, and they are the most minor thing. The smallest thing is just a bit of plastic on my nails, but just that makes me feel so much better about myself. And for the sake of £25 a month, I'm gonna do it. It could be drugs. It could be drugs. All this, these books, crafty shit, nails, could be drugs, but they're not. So, yeah. Another thing that I'm gonna be doing as self-care is enjoying music again. Like, I've recently, thank you to Livy, and I wanna give an apology to Livy as well. And I've apologised many a time about this. When Livy's mentioned K-pop in the past, I kind of been like, no, it's not for me. I'm so excited for you that you love it so much, and I am, you know, I'm really happy that you enjoy it so much. But it's really just not for me. I thought it was all bubblegum pop and just, I don't know, it just, you've got it in your head, like, ooh, kawaii, like, I can't cope with the overly crazy, like, bubblegum pop stuff, I can't. It really hurts my brain. But it was on the off chance that Stray Kids came up on my TikTok, and then I fell down a hole, and I now have multiple, and I think we've had a discussion about this. I think it's because it's called K-pop. I'm just gonna call it Korean music, because calling it pop is not the right thing to do. It's not pop music. There's a couple of rock bands in there. There's some rap artists in there, and what these people do is not just pop. They do rap. They do rock. They do so much. It's just ridiculous. They're all seriously talented people. And I've gone like Stray Kids, 80s, NCT, just 17, The Rose, The Boys. So many people. I am in my full K-pop era, and I'm not mad about it. And just the music makes me happy. Like, the serotonin boost that I get from being woken up to Maniac every morning is just ridiculous. And it's the small things. So I allow myself to just sit there and listen to music. Not thinking, oh, I need to be doing this, or I need to be doing that, or I need to be reading, or I need... Do you know what I mean? It's not the thing. One thing I did forget to mention is I have set my Goodreads goal at 100. If I hit it, I hit it. If I don't. I got to 200 this year, but like I said, a massive chunk of that was manga, because I did the 30 and 30 manga challenge. I also did the manga taste test, where I did 10 volumes of manga in a month. So, you know, I'm doing, a lot of people have said this, it's quality over quantity, and I'm not gonna kick myself if I only read 100 books next year, because 100 books more than what I would have read this year. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's like an arbitrary goal. It's an approximation. There we go. But yeah, this is a longer video than I expected it to be. If you do like me and you want to see more of me, please like, comment, subscribe to all that good stuff. If you're here and you want to know here but you don't have anything to say, please leave black hearts, very much appreciated. Until next time, I hope you have the most amazing new year, and let's bring on 2024 and make it a good one.
I left my phone at my brother's place.